Welcome to the No Mercy Business Coaching Podcast with Emily A. Woodruff, the podcast that walks you through managing your own small business through the highs and the lows. We'll talk with small business owners from all over the U.S. and share insights on how to help manage your business without the extra fluff and connect with other women just like you. Let's dive in. Well, hello, everybody. This is Emily with the No Mercy Business Podcast. Today, I have a special guest with us. Her name is Patricia Florence. She's from the Priceless Art Studio. Patricia, do you want to tell us a little bit about your business and what you do?
Yeah, sure. The main part of my business is drawing portraits. I do detailed guestbook portraits, as well as more faceless, simplistic, minimalistic portraits. A lot of those are memorial or to commemorate loved ones that have passed. And I also have a passive revenue stream selling digital sublimation products on Etsy.
Awesome. How did you get started doing this sort of thing? And how did you get started with graphic design overall?
I started doing it because when COVID hit, I needed to find a way to make money and be home due to my health issues. And I thought I was going to do sublimation, but then found out that I already use Procreate to draw. And I found out that I can make money making designs for people. And so I decided to make that into a business. So I made an Etsy shop doing the portraits I love and also selling those digital designs.
I love that. And you have a pretty successful Etsy shop. How many sales do you have, or just generally?
I think I just hit 11,000 sales.
That's
I
great.
have almost 1,000 reviews. Yeah, every time it says pat your back, you've made 10,000 sales. I'm really proud of that. A lot of it is that recurring revenue where I don't have to do anything. So it's mostly that digital content. And then a lot of it revenue is the portraits.
That's so great. I just got my first pat your back and it was for 5 sales.
Oh, that's
I'm real excited.
I felt like after those first 5 to 10 sales, they just came flowing in. This is my
Awesome.
second Etsy shop, my first one and this one. I feel like that's how it both went. Like once I got the first 5 or 10 sales, they just came in nonstop.
Good. Well, that's encouraging for sure. Good. What's your favorite product that you have on your shops to create? What's your favorite one to do? Favorite thing, I guess.
Honestly, I am blessed to be able to use my talents to create those faceless portraits for loved ones. I like to do with Jesus holding an infant or with a loved one. I've seen so much healing come from that and comfort to those families that is my favorite thing to do. I like drawing portraits.
That's so neat. And I've seen a couple of yours that have Jesus in them, and they're beautiful. And I'm somebody who hasn't lost somebody very close to me, but they've like stopped me in my tracks, stopped my scroll to see them, and I love them. So you've got something going on there for sure. Yeah, that's great. What do you think the biggest challenge as an Etsy printable shops owner is for you right now?
So this question I had read before this interview, I had multiple bullet points for this one but the biggest challenge is personal, me personal. Sorry, I can't speak English, but self-management, I think, is the biggest challenge for me. I go from working as a receptionist for someone else to having my own business where I need to delegate how I talk to people, how I'm professional. I need to time management, have time management, set boundaries, because I always want to respond to a customer right away, no matter if I'm in the middle of a movie theater, which is bad. And I think that it's all around self-management. Like you have to now manage yourself and not have someone over you.
That's real. I think that is something that a lot of our listeners can resonate with. Being able to separate your time from work time or from your, like I work a day job also. So when is it okay for me to check my email there? Or when is it for, how do things overlap and how do you balance all of that that's a difficult
Or
task.
even like,
So,
what do I pay myself? That was the
right,
whole challenge from the beginning, because I'm like, no, I want to invest everything back
right,
into it. But then at what point do I pay myself?
right.
And how much fair, and all that. So that was definitely difficult.
Yeah. I think we're all right there with you.
Mhm.
So what is you said that you're a secretary also. So what does a typical day look like for you when you're working on your Etsy printables or your Etsy shop or your work, you know?
So I'm not a secretary any longer. And when
Oh,
COVID
okay.
hit, I lost that job. But it was because of COVID. And I started this business. Right now, this also ties in with the self-management part, right? I can wake up when I want, I can go to sleep when I want, I can take a break when I want. Making a schedule and sticking to it and being productive and being efficient is very important. So when I wake up, I usually wake up late, 10 a.m., an hour later, start some orders, respond to customers that have messaged me while I was sleeping, do some portraits, maybe do a YouTube video for my channel, maybe do other things and projects. But I have to definitely I have to follow a schedule to stick to those things and get things done. I like to do a split shift day, usually like 4 hours in the afternoon and then 4 hours at night, or sometimes I just stay up all night and go to sleep when the sun comes up. And I'm a night owl. I love that.
Yeah, I think that's a creative trait too. That's
I can be
common.
creative when I want to be creative. Like when the creative juices are flowing, I can be creative. And if I'm having like a block, I can choose to be like, okay, I'm not feeling it right now. I'm not going to give the best work. So I'm going to come back to this in an hour or two.
Or you can focus your tasks on your administrative things or you're responding to emails and things like that when yeah, that's
Yeah, the
good.
mundane stuff. Yeah, I can do all
Yeah,
that when I'm not really wanting to be creative.
that's
Mhm.
great. So what's something new that you're working on right now? Is there anything fun planned for 2022?
So for the rest of this year, I'm working on building up digital content. I see the value in that stuff, that I can make something that takes me 30 minutes to make, and I can sell it hundreds, thousands of times for, even if it's $1, $2,
Yeah.
that 30 minutes made me $1,000. And I've had a listing that has sold, 900, 800 times, and it's being sold for $3. So that took me 20 minutes to make. I really see a value in that. So that's where I'm going to be putting my effort into. I want to be able to go to Hawaii and sit on the beach and have
Yeah.
my phone chinging and having deposits daily. Like I can make $50 to $100 on digital downloads now with what
Heck
I have. And
yeah.
I have a few hundred items. If I had 1,000 items, that's 5 times the amount of chances to get 5 times the amount of income. So that's
Yeah.
my focus.
That's great. And if you're not an Etsy seller, the chinging that she's talking about, when you make a sale and you have the Etsy app on your phone, it makes like a little cash register noise and it's really
It's
exciting.
wonderful. It is wonderful. It
It
makes
makes
every
all
part
of it
of me
worth it.
tingle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of silly because even now, after I've made so many sales and reviews, I always check every review.
Uh-huh.
And every time my phone chings, I'll be in the kitchen, I'll be like, we just got an order. We just
Yeah.
got an order. And I'm singing Blues Clues,
Heck
but
yeah.
like I really get excited. So I mean, that's amazing. Every dollar adds up. It's
For
awesome.
sure. That's great. That's so great.
Mhm.
What do you think is the biggest mistake that you see people making with their shops or their printables?
I mean, biggest mistake in general as a business is getting inspired. I mean, I'm a social entrepreneur. I've had multiple businesses, but
Yeah.
I see people get inspired and then not have consistency
Okay.
or not have like the effort, and they lose that. Or also trying to undercut the competition as an artist. Oh, he's doing it for $5. Let me do it for $3. Then the next person's let me do it for $2. That diminishes the value in art as a general whole, and we need to keep the value in our artwork.
I totally agree. That's great. So on the flip side of that, what kind of advice would you give somebody who's just starting out with an Etsy shop? This one's
Um,
not directed towards me at all, by the way.
I mean, hint, hint, hint,
Yeah.
hint. The education's free. There's no excuse. There's no excuse to not know how to use SEO websites that are available free, such as eRank or Marmalade. There's no reason to not know, how to build a good listing. You can photograph items with things from Dollar Tree, such as those white backboards, wood textures, there's different things you can photograph your stuff well. But so my advice is, in general, research all the different things that need to do with Etsy, the algorithm, the SEO, and making sure your listing looks pleasing to the eye, because us humans, we use our eyes mainly to buy things. So if it doesn't look too good, like if that chocolate cake doesn't look that great, you're not going to eat it. You want your listing to look great and well lit and clean.
I love it. That's great. Do you have any, this is one I didn't prep you with, but do you have any special tools that you use, like a certain type of camera, or do you just use your phone, use a light box, anything like that?
So for Etsy, I mostly use mock-ups.
Okay.
I love mock-ups. I make mock-ups and I can sell those and I can use them. So it benefits me and it also makes me money. Mock-ups are great for t-shirts, for tumblers, for physical items like that. But for digital products, I just put a clean background on it and put a watermark over it, which is very important. Yeah. And, make some mock-ups. And then also another thing is, I use my phone, to make any pictures I do need to take, and also to record videos on YouTube. I have a GoPro. I don't know how to use it. Rather just use my phone.
Awesome. That's what I love about Etsy, is that it's so accessible for everyone. You don't have to have a big DSLR camera. You don't have to have professional lighting. You can, and it certainly will make things a little bit better, but you can do it with what you have at home, and I think that's great.
And technology has really stepped up recently. Phones can record at 4K video and very high quality photos. There's no excuse like I don't have a camera. You can get it done and
sure
how to use what you have and make money. I mean, that's definitely the definition of bootstrapping, beg, borrow, barter, and you use what you got to make money. I started an Etsy shop with nothing, no money down, no nothing. And I was selling birthday, like table skirts and stuff in my first Etsy shop. You can start with nothing. They pay you. They'll deposit the money the next day. You can go get those supplies. You can make what they ordered as long as you know how to do it, so I'm sorry, I'm going on, but it's really, if you learn the system, it's easy to grasp it.
No, that's great. That's really great. Is there anything additional about your shop or about you that you would want our listeners to know from today?
No, thank you so much for inviting me. I think that this is very important. It's vital that once we learn something, you learn how to do something that makes you money, teach others, pull others up with you. I think that's extremely important. And that's definitely what this podcast is. There's no secrets, you know what I mean? You got to just share it all. Like, hey, I'm making money. This is how you can make money. And that's why I started my YouTube channel, Let's Make Designs. I teach others how to make sublimation designs and sell that content on Etsy and how to make money with Etsy. So I think that that's really important to me, and I really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so excited to have finally gotten to talk to you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. So where can our listeners find you online?
So my website is pricelessartstudio.com. That links to my Etsy shop, but it gives me a separate storefront. And then on YouTube is Let's Make Designs.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This was great. I'm super excited to get to share it and get to check out more of your work. So yeah, if you're interested in minimalist designs, custom artwork, you should definitely check out Patricia's shop. I'm sure she would love to work with you. And that is my cue. There's my son coming up with the lawnmower. So I don't know if you can hear it or not, but that's our cue to cut this one. Thanks for listening to the No Mercy Business Coaching and Consulting Podcast with Emily A. Woodruff. We specialize in branding and design for women, by women.